Thank you, Lasca Hirlach, and welcome, Minister. Minister, this is about a licence agreement for a field, a green field beside a school in Dublin 15, Dublin West, called St Patrick's National School, Diswellstown, and the agreement is with Park Developments. It's a local agreement that was agreed between the school and the developer for the use of this land. It is community infrastructure zoned. It's not going to be used for housing. That agreement has worked very well. The school really need it for playing. It's the only green space that they have. But on the 30th of June, Park Developments have said that they will revoke this licence unless there is significant progress about the purchase of this field. And I will explain to you why that's so important, not just for playing. So this school was built as a 3-stream school, and it has been operating as a 4-stream school for the last 3 years. It's on a 3-stream site, and it's squashed even with that. They have been using for the last 3 years community centre rooms, 2 community centre rooms, with one of which only has 1 window, and the library of the school. And none of those rooms have proper bathrooms, and the kids didn't have a green area to play without the field. If the school isn't expanded, this school will have to revert to 3 streams again because it can't accommodate any more children. And just to say, going to a 4-stream school isn't enough for the demand that this school actually has. Every year I deal with really disappointed parents who can't get into this school. They have a ratio of 30 to 1 when it comes to pupils to teachers. They did get a 2-classroom extension that's just recently opened and a new prefab, but this cycle will start again this September with the library being used for a class for the school year 2021 to 2022. So it can't continue like this. But it's just the beginning of the challenges that this school faced. It was built in 2006. In 2010, they discovered the presence of pyrite, and the engineers recommended a total removal of the hardcore infill. And that work needs to be done. But legal proceedings through the Chief State Solicitor's Office, they are ongoing, but there were issues about the contractor during the process for expressions of interest. The contractor that had built the school in the first place actually had expressed interest. So that wasn't a situation that they wanted to proceed with. I believe there is mediation between the parties, but if unsuccessful, the department would instruct the Chief State Solicitor's Office to set the case down for trial with the view to progressing the permanent remediation works in parallel with legal proceedings. But on an ongoing basis, this school faces emergency works every year, and they have lost more play spaces in their yard because of the pyrite. So in the short term, we need this field. The idea of going into September of a school year without a green play area and all the children being squashed into the areas that they do have is unthinkable. In the medium term, they need that field for the permanent remediation works. And in other words, to accommodate the children in other areas while the work is ongoing and so that the school continues to function properly. But in the long term, we also need this field for the long-term expansion of the school for the area because there is ongoing development. So the field, we have it up until the 30th of June. The clock is ticking. Park Developments have signalled very clearly that they need to see significant progress when it comes to purchasing this field. The school want it, the Park Developments want it. The department have told the school that they should continue to continue to take in students on the basis that they would purchase this field. So I'm asking for an update today, Minister.
Thank you very much. Now, Minister, you have 4 minutes to respond.
Thank you, Senator, for raising this matter and to put, I suppose, this issue in context, and in order to plan for school provision and analyse the relevant demographic data. The Department divides the country into 314 school planning areas and uses what they call a geographical information system, using data from a range of sources to identify where the pressure for school places across the country will arise. And due to an increase in a demand for primary school places in the Diswellstown area, which you mentioned, Senator, enrolments for St Patrick's National School have increased by 13% in the past 5 years to a current enrolment of 835. And the current staffing levels are 1 principal, 31 mainstream teachers, plus 1 developing post. And the land and the building that the school is currently operating out of will not allow, as you have correctly pointed out, for any further expansion. And the land adjoining the current school site is deemed suitable to meet the department's current requirements to allow the school to expand to a full 4-stream school. And acquiring the approximate 1-acre site to the north of the existing school site would provide accommodation for displaced car park, additional car parking, displaced ball courts, pedestrian and cyclist permeability to Diswellstown Road. But as the Senator may already be aware, officials in the department are working closely with officials from Fingal County Council under the Memorandum of Understanding in relation to the acquisition of the plot of land adjacent to St Patrick's National School. And the site acquisition process has been progressed in respect of the requirement in question and in line with standard acquisition protocols. It suffices to say negotiations are not straightforward. They are ongoing, however, between officials in the department and the owner of the additional 1-acre plot adjoining the current school site, and an offer for the land has been made by Fingal County Council on behalf of the department. But the landowner has introduced a number of preconditions, and those preconditions I'm not at liberty to discuss here today, but suffice to say that there are preconditions put down on behalf of the landowner, and they are unrelated to the sale of this land. So the discussions are at a sensitive stage between the department and the vendor in relation to these preconditions. And I just want to reassure the Senator that all is being done by department officials and because they appreciate the urgent necessity to acquire these lands for the reasons that you have so eloquently outlined. And as such, they are working very closely with officials in Fingal County Council in relation to expediting the acquisition as efficiently as possible. I understand the urgency that you discuss. I also would like to talk about the pyrite issue that you also mentioned, and that situation is currently being monitored. There is funding under the emergency work scheme if needed. And it's important as well to set out the criteria that the department looks at when it's acquiring a site and evaluating the suitability of a site. So it looks at the zoning, and as you have said, it is a community infrastructure zone. So from that perspective, it is suitable. They look at existing services, they look at site orientation, they look at topography, transport and access. So they're all very important criteria in relation to this particular site. And as I said, this particular site is of interest to the department and is already, as you know, and you have outlined yourself, is being used as a play area for the school. And the land, so this land adjoining is most suitable to enable an expansion of the current school accommodation. But the department is in negotiations with the landowner, and the agreement has not yet been successful in order to obtain the best value for money for the Exchequer.
Thank you very much, Minister. Now, Senator, you have 1 minute for response.
Thank you, Minister, for that. I'm glad to hear that the department is committed to this and understands the urgency behind it. It has been going on since December 2019, so I sincerely hope that a resolution and agreement can be found, and I hope Park Developments will come to an arrangement with Fingal County Council and the department. Just to say that one of the things that the school would like is the provision of, to have space for the provision of a special class as well. So it's in all of our interests that this proceeds as quickly as possible. I understand that it is sensitive, but there is a lack of information that has been forthcoming. The school does feel as if it is in limbo. But you're right, there's there's a 13% increase in enrolments. There would be a lot more if there was the space for this school. It's a great school, and I hope we can get this across the line as soon as possible.
Cooperation. Senator Currie, final comment, Minister.
I completely agree with you, Senator. It does need to be expedited, particularly if this has been going on since 2019. But you'll appreciate the fact that negotiations don't involve just one party. There are discussions ongoing with Fingal County Council as well as with the landowner, and these preconditions need to be teased out. They need to be deliberated upon. That we need to see if there's commonalities can be found in order to continue and to progress with the site acquisition. And I note what you say about a new prefab just being given, but the fact that a library will be used for a class, so that there is an urgency around that, and we'll be doing everything in the department to ensure that the negotiations progress as expeditiously as possible. I will also bring this matter to the attention of Minister Foley in the department, and I think the fact that you're highlighting it today in the Seanad will concentrate minds and perhaps may result in the expedition and the resolution of this in early course.
Thank you very much.